Hi, I'm Teresa Hansen, Vice President of Global Content for Clarion Energy. Here are today's stories. Story number 3. Scientists from ExxonMobil, University of California, Berkeley, and Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory have discovered a new material that could capture more than 90% of carbon dioxide emissions from industrial sources. The new technology will help power generators capture carbon emissions from natural gas-fired power plants using low-temperature steam. This means the process will need less energy than current carbon capture processes. Laboratory tests showed that the patent-pending materials, known as tetraamine functionalized metal organic framework, capture carbon dioxide emissions up to 6 times more effectively than conventional amine-based carbon capture technology. And by using less energy to capture and remove carbon, the cost of the technology should be lower, which should eventually allow it to support commercial applications. ExxonMobil and its partners have been working for 8 years to develop this potential carbon capture solution. You can learn more about this technology, including scientific details, in an article on Power Engineering's website at power-eng.com. That's it for me. Now I'll turn it over to Jen Runyon. I hope you have a great week.
Thanks, Teresa. Story number 2. Opus One and Southern California Edison said that they are planning a transactive energy pilot in California, which Opus One said is the first of its kind in the state. SCE will use Opus One's Grid OS Transactive Energy Management System, which they call TEMS, to manage distributed energy resources in its Camden substation area. Through price signals, SCE will be able to communicate with and optimize the dispatch of those DER, which should allow SCE to explore how to provide and compensate for grid services through customer-owned DER, and also develop a potential new revenue stream for its customers. In essence, transactive energy means that customers can buy and sell energy to and from each other. So as a simple example, if customer A has a solar array that is producing more energy than they are using at that moment, and the price of energy is very high, that customer A, can sell its excess energy to customer B and be compensated for it at that higher price. So SCE will use the software to simulate scenarios in a lab environment first and test different pricing mechanisms for DER dispatch. And then SCE will conduct a demonstration with real DER assets owned by customers who will be compensated for participating. Hari Suthan, who's Chief Strategic Growth and Policy Officer at Opus One, said in an interview that SCE is looking to evaluate dynamic pricing programs for their ability to minimize grid losses, maximize PV output, and minimize operational costs. And you can read that whole story at power-grid.com. Story number 1. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania's International Airport is getting an upgrade in the form of a 23-megawatt microgrid made up of gas-fired and solar power generation systems. The project will feature 5 4-megawatt Jenbacher natural gas engines and gensets, joined by a 3-megawatt solar array installed on 8 acres at a former landfill. Construction on the gas-fired energy phase of the project has already begun, and work on the solar array is expected to begin this fall. Completion and commissioning is scheduled for the second quarter of 2021. Once the microgrid is online, it will help avoid all kinds of power outages that have wreaked havoc at airports like Hartsfield-Jackson in Atlanta, Los Angeles International, Washington Reagan International, and officials said it will also save money on electric costs. Quote, "We can totally disconnect from the grid and operate this in island mode," said Tom Woodrow, Vice President of Engineering at the airport. He added, "The whole project is about public safety, redundancy, and resiliency. That's the #1 goal here." And you can read that whole story at power-eng.com. Finally, a last reminder that we are exploring 14 reasons that utilities should consider private broadband networks and their operations. We're exploring that in a webcast this Thursday, July 30th at 11 a.m. Eastern. We hope you can join us. Hope to see you there. That's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.